so we'll start recording this one as well. Beto spreads falsehood about Trump in CNN town hall. Former Texas Republican Beto O'Rourke shared multiple statements during his town hall on CNN Tuesday night that were false. O'Rourke tried using the town hall, among other recent media hits, to jumpstart his campaign. If you need to jumpstart it, chances are it's not doing too well. Let's see what he had to say.
Within our own borders, promoting anti-Muslim sentiment, cheering on dictatorial leaders, etc., the U.S. has not only weakened its global status, but it has demonstrated that its own domestic partisanship is an interference to stable foreign relations. How do you plan to restore global trust in American leadership and American foreign policy?
Sarah, thank you for the question and giving us the opportunity to take stock of where we are in the world right now. This president, this administration, his policies here at home and abroad have been an absolute disaster. Describing those immigrants who come to this country as rapists and criminals, though they commit crimes at a far lower rate than those...
That's not what he said. Oh my God.
...who are born in this country. Describing asylum seekers as animals or an infestation.
He didn't call them that either. He actually called the MS-13 gang animals, but anyway.
Is how you might describe a termite or a cockroach, something that you want to stamp out, something less than human. You don't get kids in cages at the border until you have dehumanized them in the eyes of your fellow Americans. To try to ban all Muslims, all people of one religion, from the shores of a country that is comprised...
The Muslim ban that he's speaking about, it's not a Muslim ban. There's countries on that ban list that aren't Muslim. It's a terrorist-related ban. I can't help it, and I don't think Trump is responsible if it just happens that a lot of Muslim countries seem to be on a terrorist watch list. Maybe you should be looking into that more than worrying about what Trump says.
...to people from the world over, every tradition of faith, every walk of life. The day that the president signed his executive order attempting to ban Muslim...
Okay. So there's a lot of falsehoods in that. O'Rourke referenced a debunked claim that President Trump is in his answer to the first question by the audience member, describing those immigrants who come to this country as rapists and criminals, though they committed crimes that are far lower than those are born in this country, describing asylum seekers as animals or infestation. Infestation is how you might describe a termite or a cockroach, something you want to stamp out, something less than human, he explained. O'Rourke's claim that Trump referred to immigrants as animals was in reference to the statement President made on an immigration roundtable back in May 2018. In the full clip, Trump's remarks became clear. The President specifically called MS-13 members animals. The hurrah began when a shortened clip that cuts out particular comments about the gang went viral. Boy, imagine my surprise. The media is selectively editing things. Who is not shocked? Later on during the evening of the event, O'Rourke references the president's remarks following the riots in Charlottesville back in 2017. When the president calls Klansmen and Nazis white supremacists very fine people, he didn't. He said there were very fine people on both sides, which is true. There were people that were there to protest the statue only. There were not people that were there for alt-right purposes. O'Rourke alleged when conflates the words Representative Ella Halan, who happens to be a Muslim member of Congress, with the attacks on 9/11, stoking Islamophobia and hatred, and yes, violence. You began to be able to explain the rise in hate crimes every single one of these last 3 years. That's because there's more people reporting them. Also, the hate crimes is also rising because both sides are doing it now. There is actually a lot of hate crimes coming in from the left. However, that's not what the president said back then either. Excuse me, they didn't put themselves down as neo-Nazis, and you had some very bad people in that group, but you also had people that were very fine people on both sides, which is what Trump said. Yes, specifically in regards to the people protesting the removal of the Robert E. Lee statue, which is exactly right. There were people there that were not there to protest. There were people there that just wanted to protest the statue. There were people there not participating in the rally for the alt-right. I'm not talking about the neo-Nazis and white nationalists because they should be condemned totally, Trump added minutes later, which they don't want to report. In addition, but Trump-related inaccuracies, O'Rourke claimed that the US had been in Iraq for 28 years. On multiple prior occasions, former House representatives stated that the US had been in Iraq for 27, and even then the Washington Post fact-checked him with 3 Pinocchios. But O'Rourke's math for Iraq war left us fumigated. Fluxamord? I did give him that wrong name. He keeps mentioning 27 years in Iraq, which takes you back to 1992. WIPO's Glenn Kessler wrote last month, not only does this date not match any sense, but his comments specifically make little sense in the context of talking about service members who fight on our behalf. Look, at the end of the day, Beto O'Rourke lying with... Who would have thought? Yeah, not surprised. But, you know, maybe we need to start a Beto O'Rourke fact-checked website. Yeah, that'd be funny. Looney, AOC...